his role, basically. He's taken over for him, and he's not missed a beat.
And he will literally next season, too.
Next year. Well,
when the cap purposes hit.
Exactly.
Schultz.
And Schultz is a unrestricted free agent, correct? So we'll see what happens. Let's go to Pete in Squirrel Hill. First up tonight. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Bob. How are you tonight?
We're good. Thank you.
Hey, Bob. Andrew Filipponi and Chris Muller have talked about this time and time again, about Matt Murray getting booed at the game yesterday. They said many times, this is not a great hockey town, Bob. This is a Penguin town. People need to be reminded. For 6 consecutive years, Bob, the Penguins were last in the NHL in attendance until the ping pong balls start popping up.
I understand.
So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, when you're having a bad team, it's true of all sports. You look around, it's not unique to Pittsburgh or anywhere else. When you have a last-place team and one that's, going to be in a – you're not going to attract. You're not going to have anybody come to games. It's going to be a challenge to get corporate money. All of that exists.
Does this guy think that Pittsburgh's the only town that blames the goalie for everything?
Yeah, the goalie blaming goes on all the time.
It goes on everywhere.
Look what happened to Bobrovsky, in Columbus.
What happened to Tuukka in Boston?
Tuukka Rask, same thing. You can go right down the list with all of them. It's just
Holtby before he won a cup.
Again, the difference here with Matt Murray is he's 25 years old. He's won 2 cups. He's done a lot. He's in the middle of a good streak, and 2 minutes into the game, they're already doing it. That, to me, seemed very quick to come up with a mock cheer for somebody like him.
I think it's because it was 2 minutes in the game.
Well,
like if he gives up think about it. If he gives up 2 goals on 3 shots at the 12 to 14 minute mark, are people saying the same thing? Are they reacting the same way? It was 12:30 for a start time, and it was 2-0 at 12:35.
I think people still have Fleury envy around here, even though those people out here used to call this show winning him out. Now all of a sudden, Matt Murray took Fleury's job. Therefore,
I think you just came back to the 0.0 on this,
Right.
which is it's the goalie. It's just about the goalie.
All right, Steve in Finleyville is next right here on the Sports Call. Hello, Steve. Steve, we lost Steve. Okay, we'll go to Mike in Ross Township. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Bob. How you doing tonight?
We're good, thank you.
Hey, I called you last week, and I wanted to ask you about Sean Davis, but then some Googles or something mentioned about how Ovechkin was greater than Lemieux, which he got threw the whole conversation off. But Sean Davis, is he coming back this year? Is he healthy? Or is he a restricted free agent?
He's going to be healthy, but there's no place for him right now, and they're going to, you have Terrell Edmonds, a first-round pick, although hopefully he'll take a next step, and I think he will. And then you have Minkah Fitzpatrick. There's no really room for Sean Davis.
I mean, I would prefer to have Ovechkin.
I don't think Edmonds had a very good year. I mean, that Bills game, he
didn't make enough interceptions.
I didn't beat him for a touchdown. His only touchdown.
So you would prefer to pay more to keep Sean Davis than keep Terrell Edmonds for the 3rd year in his rookie contract?
How much did he cost? He's a restricted free agent. He didn't play all year. I don't think he's going to get a lot of money on the market.
Well, no, but you still have to pay to keep him. He's an easy guy to let go on a team that has cap issues and has to figure out, I think, numbers in the secondary. You're not going to let Terrell Edmonds go and keep Sean Davis.
No,
that's not going to happen.
Thanks for the call, though. We appreciate that. Speaking of football, let's talk real quick about the 2 championship games and the fact that I think the 2 best teams have arrived here. And, boy, it goes to show you, Tim, that still a bye and a home field advantage still has a big play in the NFL. And those 2 teams, it's going to be interesting to see the Super Bowl now because I think San Francisco is a more complete team, but I think they've got the best player in Kansas City. How do you see it breaking down?
Well, it's way too early to make a legitimate Super Bowl prediction.
Just your first take.
I will make a legitimate Super Bowl prediction. I'm going to go with Kansas City. I've got it 31-30. I thought when I saw the number come out right at the line at -1 in favor of the Chiefs, this is exactly what I was thinking. It is almost a toss-up. Now, here's where my analysis is, and this sounds so basic and so simple, but I think that's kind of where it should be this early in the process, looking at these 2 teams. Kansas City just beat a team that is extremely run-reliant and trying to insulate its quarterback. Now, the team that they're playing is better at doing that collectively than the Titans are, and the quarterback is better, and I think the balance of the passing weapons that he has to throw to is better than Tennessee. So that's why I don't think it'll work as easily, but I do think it'll work to the point that Kansas City is going to be 1 point better. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. But
are they playing a better version of who they just beat?
Yes.
And do you think that San Francisco can come back in a game if Kansas City can get out?
I do.
I don't think they can outscore
I think Garoppolo is being, quite frankly, Kyle Shanahan decided we don't even need Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think that's a mistake.
Well, he didn't need to do it, and why would you change? Because it worked. Last 2 weeks, they ran the ball almost 100 times.
I don't want them, if I'm a San Francisco fan, I don't want them talking themselves into they have to be the Titans. Because I think you're right. I think Garoppolo is better than that. Like I just said, I think their balance of passing attack is better than that. And they've kind of approached these. I want them to be the team that passes when it wants to, not a team that tries to pass when it has to. And that's what Tennessee became, and that's why they lost.
Well, I also think Kyle Shanahan could very well be setting this up. You're going to see a lot of runs. It also sets up play action. They've got one of the best tight ends in the game. They've got some really good wide receivers. One young kid who's developing, and then you got Emmanuel Sanders in the.
Have a good year.
They have a very good team that can come at you a lot of different ways. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them reverse it a little bit and just come out throwing to see because I think Kansas City can be thrown upon if you do it.
Yeah, and Coleman being banged up, I know what the coach said today, Shanahan said today that he's hoping and optimistic about him playing. But, you know, you get a dislocated shoulder. Maybe they have to rely a lot more on Mostert, and then the permutation goes
What a great
from
story the Mostert story is.
Yeah,
Huh?
sure.
I mean, it's nice to see that kind of stuff. All right, let's go to Marianne in Trona Heights. Marianne, welcome to the Sports Call. Go ahead.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to make a couple comments about this Bronx cheering for Matt. I was at the game, and it wasn't like booing at all. And my section, which was a lot of friends, we weren't down at the end where Matt was for the first period. But whenever he made any save after the goals went in, we screamed like you couldn't believe. Way to go, Matt, and cheering and everything. So how do you differentiate between our sincere cheers and a Bronx cheer?
You tell me.
I really...
You tell me, because obviously you know. I mean, you know that wasn't sincere. When a puck trickles to him and he freezes it to get a face-off, that was a sincere cheer. Like, that's obviously what they were doing. From that point on, yeah, I think clearly from that point on, they were cheering for him when he made saves that kept them in the game. But let's not be intellectually dishonest here. You know that they were mocking him and mocking the team for letting in 2 goals in the first 3 shots.
But you know what? I'm telling you, I'm a huge Murray fan. I never, ever, ever say anything bad about any player. I don't care what kind of mistake they make. But when Matt made any kind of save after those goals went in, I screamed so loud.
Well, we appreciate that, and I'm sure he does too, and I'm sure he
down
heard
then.
it.
Yeah,
We're due for a break.
It's after that save.
Right.
That save is what everybody's talking about. I don't know what we're debating here.
David Palladino on Twitter at KD Pomp at Tim Benz PGH agrees with you, Tim. He said the fan frustration came because it was early, 2-0 down. Listen, we're going to talk about what should happen next with the goaltending situation. Who should play tomorrow? That's next when we come back right here live on Pittsburgh CW.